Hello, welcome everybody. This is my first broadcast on live TV using the Be Live service, which is a fantastic tool for small businesses. Yeah, and I'll explain more about that in the post later about it. But anyhow, I'd like to welcome today a very good friend of mine and a very good businessman, a chap called Mr. George Swift. And I friendly know him, or I know him as the mindset mechanic of Bigger, Brighter, Bolder Company here in the UK. So I'm not going to do all the talking today. I want George to do most of the talking because he is a fantastic mindset guru, and anybody who needs help with their business, he's the chap I would send you down the path to very, very quickly. So I always like to ask people, if you were stuck in an elevator for 10 minutes with a business person, how would you describe your business to them?
So for me, yeah, it's actually a really complex kind of business, but I'd really break it down to simplicity, which is what we specialize in is mindset and attitude. And the reason being is your mindset dictates your attitude, your attitude dictates your behaviors, and also your behaviors dictate your reactions, right? What you get back in the world. So my really simple elevator pitch is we help people get out of their own way so that they can start to realize and achieve their own ambition, both within business and also within their own lives.
So if you were able to describe, say, the top 3 myths about your business and what people, what would you say they are? So give them what it is, and then I'm going to ask you what the top one is and explain why that one is the top.
Okay, right. So my mind went straight to the top one that I was going to say. Right, so I'll park that one. I think myths in what I do. Number one, I think, not number one, but number 3, the first I'm going to talk about, I think is the fact that that actually when you're dealing with businesses, that somehow you have to deal with all the hard aspects of running a business. You know, it's all about, if you want to make progress as a whether it be a business leader or whether it be a senior management team or whatever it might be, is that somehow that, you know, the soft skills, life skills, the becoming a happier person, a better performing individual, that somehow that takes second place to, you know, business strategy or marketing or sales strategy or whatever. The bottom line is really simple. We're all human beings and people, and those flaws that we carry as individuals do carry out and play out through businesses. So I think it's that's definitely one of them. And that is definitely true, I think, the bigger the business I work with. Just this morning, funny enough, we went and had a bit of a sales meeting or a bit of a pitch with a potential prospect. And this is a 30+ million pound company. And what we're saying to them is the same as what I'm saying to you now. And the idea is we're going to work with their board to create a culture, both initially within the boardroom, but then obviously to put that out across the whole business. Yes. And I was saying the same thing, you know, you can have the best strategy in the world, you can have the best products in the world, but if your people aren't applying your processes or your systems, or they're just not applying themselves fully, it's never going to be successful, or certainly not successful as it could otherwise be. So that's definitely one. Another one I think somehow is that you've got to somehow be broken or flawed in order to want to do or participate in what we do. I think that's a really big thing now. I think people are sometimes too proud to step forward and say, actually, do you know what? I don't think I'm firing quite right up there. I don't think I've got the right attitude. And I think people see it as somehow a massive character flaw, rather than realizing that actually, you know, there are no perfect human beings. And even the greatest performing individuals, whether it be athletes or business or in film or anything, actually, you know what? They all have someone like me associated with them. You know, Tiger Woods was famously had multiple coaches, one of which was his mindset. I think he had 2 mindset coaches, actually. Big business, big corporates, they all have mindset, because what they realize is even the top performing individuals, they realize actually that the difference between really succeeding and really doing the best they can and maybe just doing a great job, or maybe in some people a substandard job, is actually all about your mindset. It's all about your attitude. It's how you apply yourself. I always say that, you know, your business, your life, you know, if this is your skill level, so this is what you're capable of achieving, most people are operating down here on a consistent basis. You might have moments where you surprise yourself with how good you are, but systematically they're down here. So of course, you know, in that gap is how you apply yourself. So this is how good you are. If you applied yourself fully to that level consistently, most people can see quite quickly how their results would massively magnify. So I think that's definitely another myth that somehow you need to be broken. Seriously, presidents, political leaders, film stars, the lot. I mean, really achieved, successful people have got someone talking to them kind of like me in the background. And the number one, you said, should I just go straight into that one?
Yep, go straight to number one.
Right, it might slip my mind now. Hang on, what's the number one I was going to say? I've forgotten it.
Oh, well, we'll come back to it.
It was the one that came straight to my mind. I parked it too far. It will come back to me.
So I'll come back to you, because I just want to pick up on one thing, because you talked about the success you've had about, the business and the boards that you're working with. But actually, primarily, you've worked with small businesses like myself and others in the bigger, brighter, bolder community. So does it work across size? Does size matter for that?
No, honestly, no. To be honest with you, I always think that mindset and attitude is a great leveler. And actually, when we run our groups, like you mentioned there, we've got newbies coming on that have just literally started up their own businesses from scratch, and they're just getting started. And we've got people in there who are running businesses at maybe $1 million, $1.5 million, okay? So this is kind of within the bigger, brighter, bolder community that we deal with and everything else. And we've got people in there running at maybe $1.5 million, even $2 million. So you've got the kind of very small companies to kind of the larger small companies. But then even like this company I saw today, to be honest with you, if you're a business owner, if you're a human being, but certainly if you're a business owner and you're not looking into how you could increase your own performance through mindset changes and just understanding human behavior. I mean, the word mindset sometimes gets overused, but just looking at human behavior, okay, first and foremost, not business behavior, not sales behavior, but looking at human behavior. If you're not looking at that and looking at who you are and what makes you tick as a human being, you're missing a huge opportunity to perform at a much greater level than you would otherwise be operating at.
So it doesn't matter. Effectively what you're saying is size doesn't really matter in this context. It's about you as an individual that you're more, you're helping move them, their business into a more successful lane, to give it a connotation. Okay.
For me, it's really simply, I don't really care about the size of the business. I care about the heart of the business. So for me, if you've got a bit of fire in your belly, if you've got a bit of ambition, if you've got a lot of, you've got a lot of desire, then what we do is help sort of like harness that to the maximum and focus it. Things like goal setting as well, but also making sure you're going to the right objectives and everything else. But for me, 100%, size doesn't matter. It's all attitude. There's a great saying from my background, which was in sport and stuff like that, boxing, all that sort of stuff, which is very much around, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size that's fighting the dog. And I think for me, if you've got the right attitude, backing the right agenda, so you've got to set your goals, set the stall out. What is it you're trying to achieve? Why are you trying to achieve it? So that's your agenda. You back that with attitude. I call it intent, but you back that with intent and attitude. That's what makes you a real force to be reckoned with as a human being, right? And of course, that translates into your business. And it doesn't matter whether you're a startup. You need that fire. So for me, what I do is take a spark and hopefully ignite that into something really, really special.
Now, I know we were talking about what's the biggest myth, but one of the myths I found is it's not about it's not about business. It's also about your personality, your personal life as well. And you shouldn't exclude them, and that you don't silo them. No.
I think I have a real philosophy in business, which is your business is your business. You're my business. So my job is to get you functioning the best you can, so that you can run your business the best you can. That's how you're going to create your business. I've got some business skills. I do help people in business, with their things like the creative side, like modelling, and I can help with a bit of other bits and pieces. But predominantly, what I'm about is really getting you to perform at your best, and you can't do that, and be ignorant to your other stuff that's going on in your life. I think a lot of businesses, they feel somehow that your personal life stops at the door. Well, that's a nice idea, it's a nice concept. It just doesn't happen. If you've got personal issues, you're going to bring them into the office. If you've got issues in business, you're going to take them home to your family. And for me, whilst I'm fundamentally here helping business owners and entrepreneurs, first and foremost, I'm about helping people to have a more fulfilled, happier life, right? And I like to work with entrepreneurs because I like the attitude of entrepreneurism. I like the independence of entrepreneurism. I think if you're an entrepreneur and you start a business, I think you're halfway there, because you're willing to step out of the mold, you're willing to take some risks and have a bit of a gamble. And I think that's kind of like half of kind of what makes people appetizing for me to work with. So that's why we do entrepreneurism. But really, you can't. I think it's an illusion that somehow you can leave your personal stuff at the door and somehow still perform well in the business. I'm not saying you can't perform in the business. I'm just saying you're not going to be performing as well as you could if you had both sides of your life sorted. And I think there's so many stories, and we all know this, and it's one of the things that puts people off success, isn't it? Is that somehow, you know, to be successful, you've got to have some hugely flawed kind of personal life. You know, there's somehow it's either or. And I really want to debunk that myth. I think once you realise what makes us tick and you realise what makes you perform well, you realise that you can be really successful and actually happy. And I think a lot of people like to buy into a bit of a myth that somehow you have to be either successful or happy. For me, actually, they're both the same thing as long as you're going about them in the right way. You can go for success in the wrong ways and be deeply unhappy, or you can go for success and be really successful in the right ways and you'll be really happy as well. So for me, absolutely, I'll make you the best operating human being you can be, because if you do that, you're going to run a great business and you're going to get results that you want.
Yeah. So what's the best tip you could give to a business that would either make them, I don't know, more efficient or save them money or even save their business? What would be that tip? What would you give them?
Yeah. So for me, I mean, you know, let's assume it's someone that would fall into my kind of category of needing maybe my sort of help or whatever, as opposed to someone that needed financial direction or something. But for me, it really is. It's a simple statement, but actually a lot easier to say than it is to do. And it's what I call creating emotional stability. And what I mean by that is naturally in life, we can sometimes be a little bit bouncing off the good and the bad. You know, when things are going bad for us, we can very much become doom and gloom. We can really kind of have that negative momentum. And then suddenly we have a good meeting or a good day and nothing can stop us now. You know, we're heroes. Yeah, that is that. And it's that hysteria, you know, and what it does, it's absolutely exhausting and it's chaotic. You know, it's like riding a roller coaster. So for me, it's like a roller coaster's fun for 5 minutes maybe, or maybe, you know, a few 5 minutes throughout a day if you go to a theme park. But to live on one is absolutely chaotic. It's very stressful. It's exhausting, and also it's exhausting for everybody else around you. So if you've got a team and you're bouncing like this, your team are going to be on that roller coaster behind you. So 1 minute everything's awesome and great and everyone's happy, and then just as they're coming up, maybe you're going down and say, oh my god, it's all over now. And for me, it's emotional stability, and I think it's the wisdom to know that our successes of today are no more going to create our overall success any more than our losses today. And for me, I think that's a really cool message for business owners to understand. We know businesses like this, you know, especially for small businesses. Big businesses, it's like that. But for small businesses, it's really easy. You know, you go out, you have a good sales meeting, it goes well, you think nothing can stop me now. One of your clients phones you up and says, we're leaving you, bang, it's all over. Right. So if we can get more stable, I don't mean neutral. You know, for me, it's positive, but it's not hysterical. It's kind of, I always say, you know, if this is like, I want to throw myself off the building, this is me bouncing off the ceilings, you know, like with hysteria, and this is neutral. We kind of want to be there, you know, like 70%, you know. And if we can maintain that, we're going to have dips, but if we can maintain that, we're much more functioning. It's what I call playing the long game. And it's realizing that if something bad happens today, that doesn't mean it's over any more than one success today means I've won. And I think for me, it's getting people to understand that, you know, you're going to have the bad days, you're going to have the downward times, you're going to have the good times. Overall, what we're looking for is a trend. And if we can focus on that trend and realize that within the trend, we've got these ups and downs, then the trend, as long as the trend's going the right way, we're okay. You know, one crazy good day is not going to make any difference in the long run. The same as 1 or 2 crazy bad days. It's what's the trajectory is over. And it's, you know, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years and beyond. So my number one thing, I say this when I go corporate and everything, if you haven't got emotional stability, then you can't function properly. You know, you're at the whim of your own chemistry, you know, your own feelings, emotions, and now you're a victim to, you know, what's going on inside you as opposed to actually taking responsibility for yourself. But yeah, emotional stability, I'd say. Okay,
so if somebody's struggling at the moment, what would be your number one piece of advice?
Yeah, number one, absolutely. If you're struggling, you've got to get yourself into an environment. I really mean that. I'm not just saying this because we run them and we have them, but number one, get yourself into an environment that pulls you out of that struggle. So you need to get yourself away from people who maybe are feeding into the negativity, you know, and you want to get yourself into an environment where people are going to support you, maybe even give you a kick up the backside, but people are going to support you and show you. Yeah. and show you that it's okay. I think
Yeah.
for me, we cultivate. We talk about going into corporates and having and running cultures. Well, we do that, or helping and run cultures. We do that because that's what we've been doing for so many years now, which is creating these environments with these really positive cultures where we all understand the ups and downs, and we're compassionate when people are having a tough time, but we don't get bought into it. So we're not kind of playing into it, saying, oh, poor you, but we're acknowledging that it's tough, but we're supporting your growth, right?
Yeah.
We're supporting you getting back to where you want to get back to. So for me, I'm telling you now, you can't beat it, right? I mean, it's too big a subject to go into with you now, Charlie, but for me, the power of the environment is very well documented. It's not just by me, but the power of the environment and how it impacts us and how it manipulates us is incredibly powerful. If you're in the wrong environments, it will manipulate us in the wrong ways. If we get ourselves into really positive, empowering environments, then that will rub off in really positive ways.
Yeah.
Nothing pulls you out quicker than having a bunch of people that understand where you're at, have been there, know what you're doing, but equally have pulled themselves out of a similar space. It gives you that possibility, it gives you that hope. And then once you buy into that this is a short-term thing, that it's not going to last forever, you already start to come out.
Okay, that's brilliant. So I know that, because I'm part of your community and I do various bits and pieces, and I know at the moment you're not doing workshops, but I know you're providing an online community for businesses to come and join. Do you want to just describe a little bit more about what your goals and aims is for that community? And we'll give them in a minute. No
problem. No problem. So we run physical groups, like success groups. We run them in West Berkshire. But actually, what we're trying to do is reach a wider community and to help people, also to help our own members in between sessions and everything else. So what we've got is the Bigger, Brighter, Bolder community. So if you go on Facebook and you just type in Bigger, Brighter, Bolder community, then you'll find a community. I can't share that. You got the link there? Okay.
Yeah, so, just put it on there.
Oh, awesome! Thank you very much. Wow, live, awesome. I love technology. If you go there, you have to ask to join. Okay, so we'll just check you out, make sure you're who you say you are, let you in the group, and once you're in the group, we're developing an online presence. We've been developing offline presences now for many years, and we're developing an online presence for exactly the same purposes, which is to create an environment of people where we support each other, bring out the best in each other. It's also where we do our own Facebook Live, so we broadcast in there, we do some Q&A with people. But also, it's not just about us, it's also about having the whole community supporting each other from everything, from just morale all the way through to maybe technical expertise, to what technology to use, or I don't know, how to find an accountant, or just literally say, you know what, success, and people want to share their success and have people who want to share in their success. So we're creating that. It's also great. People who are in business, I don't mind where they are. It's an online community that we're trying to support in a really honest and authentic way to really help people bring out the best in themselves.
Fabulous. That's absolutely brilliant. So I'm really pleased that you came on, because you're one of my heroes in connection to running a business, because you're the way that you help and focus and bring such succinct and what I would call mind opening concepts, and then you translate that into practical use, is probably the foundation of why I think a lot of people are still in your community. And to go online now, which is more of the area I'm involved in, it's going to be a great help, because I'll just be promoting this to the online community for people, because it is such an important part of any business, is understanding the mindset and using and stopping yourselves, as you say, becoming on that roller coaster. So
I've remembered my number one now. Do you want it?
Oh, go on then. We've got time.
You prompted me. You've got time for that?
Yeah.
Cool. So you prompted me. My number one is this, right? Because it came to me straight away and I parked it. But number one is really simple as this. Because of the nature of Facebook memes and these little, I call them bumper stickers, say smile today, life will be great. I think you said about the myth. I think the myth that somehow we should automatically be able to just turn that frown upside down, that somehow we have control over our emotions and control over our thoughts. And we haven't got time to go into it right now, but the truth of the matter is, from the work we've been doing, we are much more at the mercy of our unconscious than we think we are, And I think what people need to understand is really simple. I think when you start looking at some gurus online or some people that are saying things, just do it anyway, just feel this, do that, just do that, just. It's the word just. And I really try and avoid using the word just, because it really does people a massive disservice to think that somehow I should just be able to be successful or just be happy or whatever. The idea that happiness is just a decision or something. When you understand how the human mind works, especially the unconscious mind, and how we're conditioned, you realize actually it's much harder. So the process actually creating change and going from being a certain type of person or behaving in certain ways and progressing that into being, if I can say, a better person or better functioning person. Yeah. It's not as simple as just choosing to be happy and choosing. It's doing the work you need to do on a consistent basis to be the person that is happy. It's not about just being happy in the moment. So I think all these books out there, they drive me nuts. They've got some well-meaning messages in there. There's a lot of people out there with some really well-meaning messages. But you know what? To say just do something is a bit like, a brain surgeon saying to me, I've got pressure on my head, just drill a hole in your head and release the pressure. It might be just for that one person because they're an expert in brain surgery, but to let me put I had a builder once come in my house and he said, oh, you've got some damp there. He said, all you need to do is drill a hole in here, pull out these bricks, let the damp out, then rebuild, like just. And I'm like, well, it's just for you because you're the expert. So for me, it's I'm not saying it isn't that easy for the people saying just do it. It's just doing a massive disservice to those people who then feel like they're failing because they can't just do that. Truth is, unless you've built up the wealth of experience and the disciplines and the mindset and the attitude, it's not just anything. It can be really hard work. Just doing what you need to, just doing what you want to do. Just being happy. Just pick up the phone and make the calls to do the sales. It's easy for people who it's easy for, but for some people it can be really hard work. So anyone watching this, please don't feel you just have to do anything just because an expert says just do something. Think like a brain surgeon saying just drill a hole in your head and relieve the pressure. It's easy if you know what you're doing and you spent years and years training to do it. For most people, it wouldn't be that easy. Yeah. One step at a time. It's a process, it's progress, and you condition yourself to be who you need to be. Don't think, I think that's my number one myth. I love that because I think it's too easy to look at people who are just saying, just do this, as if somehow I should just be able to be successful. It isn't that easy. We'd all be massively successful. We'd all have ripped six packs and abs. We'd all have amazing relationships, right? The truth of the matter is they are rare. All that stuff is rare because it's not that easy, right? Okay, there you go. Remember number one.
Excellent. I'm really pleased about that. So I'll post once more in the comments afterwards the link to your group. I really can't thank you enough for coming on at short notice to do this. No, I hope you enjoyed it.
I did.
And I will be probably booking you later to do some more. So thanks very much, George. I really appreciate it. And I'm really rooting for the community to become bigger, brighter and bolder.
Awesome.
Thanks very much, everybody.
Cheers, Tony. Good luck with it. Thanks.